Looks like you're ready to go. I'm Bartek Igielski, lead content developer. You can also find me on Twitter. I got I'm the front-end Bartek, so don't confuse me, please. Today I'm going to talk about progressive web applications. This topic will be not so related to Magento itself, but that will be great if your Magento 2 stores or any stores will follow these rules. This will, using the progressive web applications, you can, for example, achieve the offline mode or the push notification and many other things. But let's start with the topic of distributing the software, especially the native software. When we back around, I don't know, 10 or 20 years, you can see that to get some kind of software that we need, we have to go out the home, find the software store, buy some of the disk, go back to home, and install it, and then, in example, we can have maps on our computer. But right now, the web have really great distribution model, because we just can take the link, open it in the browser, and we have what we need. And that's why the links are the web superpowers. When we look into our emails or other native applications, to get into the application, we have to have some kind of link. There is no way to jump into applications without using the web. So I have some questions to you. How many of you use the Google Maps web version on the desktop or laptop computer? Raise your hands. So keep it up. So the second question: how many of you use it on the mobile? Same way, someone on the web. On the web. So it's like, I don't know, 20%, 10%, or something like that. So it's clear that we use web on mobile a little bit different way. But on desktop, we used to have only native apps, and it changed. I have some metrics here. It's from June 2016. It's 1,000 mobile top mobile apps and 1,000 of the best mobile web pages. And you can see that this is the amount of the average monthly unique visitors. And we can see that on the mobile web, we have 3 times more unique visitors than on the apps. But on the apps, we have 20 times more the users spend in the apps, 20 times more time than on the web. It's almost 3 hours amount, and on mobile we have 9 minutes. It's really big amount, especially when we check the metrics over a time. In June 2014, from June 2014, the average time the user spends on web decreased 27%, but the amount of the unique visitors increased 82%. So, why this happened? Probably because we can re-engage users to get into our web pages, but in the same time, native apps have this ability, like the push notification or offline mode. So, what we should do with it, because probably we want to increase our time the users spend on our pages. So we should focus on the user experience, because it's probably the only way that we can improve this experience of users and make them loyal, returning visitors who want to leave money in our store. So, what is the progressive web applications? To be honest, I will read this because it's like copy paste exactly from the documentation of the Google. Progressive web applications are experiences that combine the best of the web and best of the apps. They are useful to users from the very first visit in the browser, not install required. So there it comes to the really nice web that we don't have to install them.
Just one thing, I just need to repeat.
Okay, no problem. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
Sorry, my fault.
The second part of the description of the progressive web application is that as the user progressively builds the relationship with the app over time, it becomes more and more powerful. It loads quickly, even on flaky networks, send and relevant push notification, has an icon on the home screen, and loads as a top-level full-screen experience. So as you can see, we have some things that we are possible. We can do this, I don't know, a year or two on the web. Because there was on the Safari a few years ago that ability to save a web page as a home screen icon that we can easily treat them almost as a application. And from this approach comes the idea of Google to make this some kind of official way to get this into every web page. So what are the minimum requirements of the progressive web application? So your page has to use HTTPS. I hope this is obvious, and every store that you run use already HTTPS. The second thing is to have the web app manifest. It's a single JSON file which contains app name, short name, some kind of description, paths to icons, background color. It's everything that the operating system needs to render properly the icon on the home screen and launch them and use this application as a full screen experience, not as another browser tab. And I will show you these slides later, but here is some kind of ready to go, just copy paste it on the page, and your page will fit all the necessary requirements. So, how to get the save prompt? Probably that will be the goal of, I don't know, your boss or something like that. Hey, I want this up on my screen every time, and ask user twice a day if he wants to save the application. Hopefully this is not going to work this way, because there's no way to trigger this prompt. Only way that user have to fit the requirements, visit our site at least twice, with at least 5 minutes between visits. Of course, this will change over time, because this is a pretty fresh topic, and these requirements evolve over time. And there is also another good article about it. So you may ask also, what does it mean it's progressive, and how it's different from the progressive enhancement approach. So progressive web application use progressive enhancements way, because even if your browser doesn't support service workers or push notification or the app manifest, your web page should work just normally. But what does it mean it's progressive in the web application? So progressive would mean that over the time that user use this application, it gets better and better experience. So the best example will be the offline caching. So if user visits more pages, that more pages will be available offline then. So let's go to the topic of the offline mode. And I hope that everyone knows that moment when you are on the edge of the network, when your phone says that, okay, I have the connection, I try to load the page, there is nothing to load, or the response time is super long, and that's called the Wi-Fi. When we look at the Magenta 2 size, we can see that the first load or any page, it's about 1 megabyte, plus minus 100 kilobytes, and the half of this is JavaScript, by the way. But when we check out the second load sizes, it's pretty low. It's about 10, 35, 57, but I did many pages and always it was below 50K. So you might think that 50 kilobytes so fast to load, but no. There is how to load the 50 kilobytes when you are offline or your connection tries to do something weird. There is a current model of the distribution of the web pages. So here is your client, here is your server. If client needs something, ask server, server send to the client. If the connection is lost and the offline dinosaur comes, you can do probably nothing. Just even can say that, hey, you are offline, just because it's like an error on the native application. There is no feedback at all. So here comes the service workers. Service workers works as a client-side proxy, and every request from the server to the user has to come through the service worker. And on this level, we can do whatever we want with this request. If the request takes too long to respond, we can use the version from cache, or even we can load only from cache. There are a few network strategies that we can use, and all of them is easily available through the service worker toolbox. The first is our network first. So we ask the network if network responds with our data, save them to the cache, and the cache was used to render our page. If the network failed, just take the cache version if it's in the cache. Second one is the cache first. So we check if the cache contains our data. If not, use the network. The third way is the fastest. In the same time, we ask for data, the cache and the network, and wins the fastest. In most cases, the cache will be the fastest way. But if the network responds, we can update the cache, and then on the next request, the data will be a little bit more updated than before. So the fourth will be cache only, it's pretty straightforward, and the network only, like standard way of the communication. So what are the other capabilities of the service workers? Of course, we can fetch and edit any kind of request. We can edit this, the data inside of request, of course. The second thing will be push notifications or any other background task. Yes, the service workers works in the background, even if the page is not loaded and user close the browser. The third thing is pretty interesting, that the intercept offline request. So if the user make an order being offline, we can keep this request on the service worker side, and when the user comes back to the offline, it will be sent. And of course, you can build whatever you want. It's just a JavaScript. You can have almost no limitation in here. You can also edit DOM here. But you have to use some promises, etc. So you might be interested in, but why this is good and how this affect my business or something like that. So we have a few case studies. The first one will be AliExpress, which may not be the full version of the progressive web application because they have on front the user agent testing, and if you are on mobile, you get the different page than on the desktop. But the mobile page is a progressive web application. So they get over 100% new users across all the browsers, and 82% increase of the conversion rate on iOS. Why this is divided to all the browsers in the iOS? iOS doesn't support service workers, offline mode, and almost any kind of the progressive web application things. But still, they focus on the improving the user experience and get 82% more conversion rate. So also they have the twice the page visited per session per user across all of the browsers, and increase the time that they spend over 70%. Another great example is Flipkart. It's India's largest e-commerce site. I really advise you to open it up on the phone, even right now. It works really nice offline. Users spend a lot of more time in their app. They use also the push notification, so they get about 30% higher engagement rate. Also increase the conversion rate for the users that add the icon to this page on the home screen. And what is important in many countries, they decrease the data over 3 times. There are also the Congo.com store, that is the biggest Nigeria e-commerce. They built the progressive application from scratch. They didn't take the current solution, but built everything from scratch. And they decrease the data needed to final the transaction over a 4 time or something like that. Sorry, it's take the 30% of the data that will be needed to do the same process. It was making an order on the native app. And the last example will be Google I/O progressive web application. So probably the most complex solution. And we can see that they almost double the time we spend on the mobile web than on the Android's native application. They increase over almost half a second first page time. Of course, these numbers will be a little bit weird because it's a tech conference. So most of the users probably have decent phones and fresh operating system, fresh browsers, but 84% of the visitors have the service worker support. So this is really, really great. Also, they tried to use add to the home screen last year, but over a year, many things changed. But this year, it's 900% more than the previous year. Almost 4% of the users use the offline mode, but they generate the 11K page views. So pretty decent. Okay, so they also sent almost half a million of the notifications, and 20%, 12% of them will back to the application. So that's all of it. If you have any kind of question for me, I will be really glad to answer them. Yeah.
I have a question concerning what kind of solutions you are using to create progressive web apps at the moment. Are there any kind of features, like I know for instance Polymer is quite a nice tool, but are there any others?
You don't have to use any kind of strict framework. If you want to use Polymer or Angular or something like that, you can use whatever you want. It's only important that you have to register the service worker and use some kind of logic here. There is not strict rules that okay you have to use this framework because then we will have a progressive application.
But the question is there anything around there that is simpler than Polymer or something like this? Does it allow you to register service worker automatically or something like this?
There are some toolboxes, like a SW toolbox created by Google, and it's used to implement this network strategies and improve the way that it works with the service workers. There are also SW pre-cache, which allows us to take the assets built by Webpack or our other building solutions and use them to pre-cache our page. Probably there will be more, but the API of the service worker is pretty straightforward, and I don't think there are any building framework that implement this inside of them. Even Polymer. Polymer is just for the web component. It's, you can use it, but it's not related to service worker at all. More questions? Yep.
What about browser compatibility?
It's a good question, but in the same time the wrong question, because the progressive web apps follow the progressive enhancements. So even if your browser doesn't support the features that we need to call the name, call the app the progressive, you can use it anywhere. But full support of the service worker, push notification, offline mode, and this type of things is on mobile only on Chrome, but not on iOS, because iOS version of Chrome is just Safari. On desktop, you can also use Firefox and Opera. Microsoft Edge is have this on the board and will be in a year or two, and it's on the Safari way is under consideration. So probably there will be some shift also on the iOS. Okay, that's all. One question more.
Okay, is there any, or do you have any ideas how to implement this in Magento? Like few ideas, are there any extensions already? Or?
To be honest, to get the best experience of implementing this, the app should follow the actual model. So there is some kind of foundation, and then data comes in different requests that we can easily cache them and render them on the page. In Magento, we get almost every page in the first request. So that might be a little bit tricky. I'm not sure how Magento will behave when we enable the offline mode just like that. That might be some weird things like that. But even the page loaded almost dynamically like a Magento to checkout, which use many knockout components. They require in the first request the form configuration generated by the PHP code. So it's not so good. Yeah.
Did you deliver any software or any extension with that for your
Not
customers?
yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it, but it's hard. Many customers even doesn't understand it, what it is, what can I achieve using it. They also already, for example, are already building the native applications. So it's a future.
Okay. Do you know an extension, an progressive web application which uses for example, push notifications from Magento at the moment?
I don't know.
Okay. No one on the. Oh, okay.
It's a pretty fresh topic, I think.
It could be very useful to.
You can be the first.
Yeah, we can be the first. But it's pretty tricky and useful for stores who has limited amount of things to sell with special price. You can get push notification that we are on sale now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the re-engagement feature might be cool, but the support of that also the push notification should be progressively enhanced. So if browser doesn't have the capability of displaying the push notification, probably you should send email on the SMS to the client. So also everything should be progressively enhanced.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
That's all. So thank you so much.